Happiness. It's actually a really weird word if you think about it. It was first used in the 15th century. Unhappiness, oddly enough, was used in the 14th. There are happy sounds, happy smells, even happy colors. But what exactly is happiness? Merriam-Webster's dictionary defines it as a state of well-being and contentment. Dictionary.com says it's good fortune and pleasure. The Oxford Dictionary calls it the state of being happy. Wikipedia thinks it's the mental or emotional state characterized by positive or pleasant emotions ranging from contentment to intense joy.
Happiness is freedom.
Happiness is a self-feeling of happy, I guess.
Things that cause you to show emotion, to care for one another, for anyone, everything.
Happiness is smiles.
Happiness is when you're not worried about anything bad happening to you and you're comfortable with what you're doing.
Just enjoying every moment of life, basically.
I see it as something that makes you feel invincible.
Happiness is when you're having fun.
Happiness is just what you feel when you're doing things you enjoy, things that you love.
But what is happiness? It's a moment before you need more happiness.
If we want to fully understand what happiness is, why we can't agree on a definition, and how we can be happy, it's important to understand the different types of happiness and why different things make people happy. Happiness can be either transient, changing, or stable. Transient happiness can vary from simple contentment to side-splitting laughter, yet this kind of happiness does not last. It is often a stronger feeling than stable happiness and more enjoyable, but after a few minutes, the thrill or the cue that initiated the happiness is gone, and with it, the happiness is out of our minds. Transient happiness is the happiness, for example, we get from playing with puppies, or looking up lolcats, or eating ice cream, or getting a new pair of shoes, or hearing music we like, or finishing homework, or hearing jokes, or drinking hot chocolate, or reading comic books, or playing video games, or painting our nails, or driving a fast car, or getting new clothes. It's all fun, but overall, the feeling we get doesn't last long. Stable happiness is more elusive. It's an overall state of being, a way of life. Stable happiness will last months and years, and becomes an integral part of your life. Stable happiness is not something that happens to you, but something that happens in you. There are fewer cues for stable happiness, but when we find them, it is worth it. Stable happiness is often considered more meaningful and important than transient happiness. Different people have different definitions of happiness as well, and this change in definitions can be accounted for. There are 7 billion people on Earth. So we don't go insane, let's group them into 2 different personality types, 2 different perceptions of happiness, introverts and extroverts. Usually, introverts are thought of as shy and antisocial. Yet in reality, being an introvert does not mean that one does not enjoy being around people, it simply means that one gains energy from being alone or reading a book. There are many people who love other people, myself included, but can only be around others for so long before we start to feel drained. Being an introvert does not mean you're shy or you're not good with people, it just means you relax when you're alone. The same concept applies to extroverts. Because they gain their energy from people does not mean they don't like being alone, they simply unwind when they're surrounded by others. Now that we know what the different types of happiness are, we can start to look at how personality and other factors affect them, and eventually how we can all be happy. As a side note, by how we can all be happy, I am referring to finding a way for everyone, everywhere, to achieve stable happiness, sort of a one-size-fits-all rule. First, to find a way that everyone can be happy, we need to look at the effect personality type has on stable happiness. Introversion and extroversion both affect how people relax and gain their energy again. However, a person's energy does not last a long time, nor does the effect of relaxing, regardless of whether someone is by themselves or with others. The happiness that differs by personality does not last long, and as such, the happiness that is gained by personality is transient. To put it simply, personality type does not affect stable happiness. So if our personalities don't affect how high our stable happiness is, what does, and why is it different for everyone else? Our stable happiness is influenced by changes. When changes occur that we perceive to be good, those changes make us feel more happy overall, while changes that we perceive to be bad make us feel less stable happiness in life. For every person, this perception of change as good or bad is different. The changes we define to be good are the changes that bring us closer to who we believe we should be. For a person who wants to be self-sufficient, moving away to college will seem like a good change. For a person who imagines themselves as successful, getting a promotion would be a good change. For someone who dreams of raising a big family in a suburban area, buying a farm would be a good change. Good changes are different for everybody because everybody wants to be a different kind of person. This is also why younger people have more transient happiness than stable happiness and are more accepting of changes. They are very far from who they believe themselves to be, and do not know or do not have as many opportunities to bring themselves closer to who they want to be, as opposed to someone later in life who has gone through many experiences bringing them closer to who they want to be. And though they do not experience transient happiness as much, they find themselves extremely happy. So if good changes are the key to stable happiness, does that mean that stable happiness can only be initiated by change? Not necessarily. There are two ways to achieve that stable happiness: bettering yourself continually until you become who you want to be, or love who you are now. Not accept, but love. It sounds really cheesy, I know, but it's true. Think about it. Loving yourself does not mean you give up on goals that seem difficult to achieve. Those are usually the most worthwhile ones anyway. Loving yourself means you don't want to change anything about who you are. Loving yourself means you have reached a level in your life where you feel you are exactly as you should be. If you have a heartbeat, there's a very good chance this isn't going to happen. You're not always going to be enthralled by your personality and your accomplishments. You're human, I'm human, we're all human. We're going to make mistakes and find imperfections in ourselves, and we are going to try and move forward and change them. That's what makes us human, the mistakes and the self-betterment. Loving yourself unconditionally would definitely be a recipe for complete happiness, but that's not what life is about. It's not about being completely cool with who you are from day one. It's about setting a standard for yourself that you'll know you'll have trouble reaching, but you try for it anyway. And the steps we make towards reaching that goal, those are the ones that make us happy. Those are the ones that make life worth living. The ones that make us wake up every morning and the ones that we stay up at night thinking about. On that road to self-improvement and to our visions of happiness, there will be downfalls and there will be detours. Happiness is not an easy thing to come by. There are times when, on that journey, we will hurt. But there are also times when we will laugh from sheer joy and excitement, because we get closer every day. Every decision we make is all in hopes of one day gaining that what everyone wants deep down inside. Happiness.